Hello, welcome back to Storytime with Miss Janelle at the DeSoto Public Library. And this is Storytime at your house. So today we are going to continue our reading around the world, and we're going to visit a different place. Last week we visited Europe, and this week we are going to visit the continent of Africa. And we're going to read stories from the people of Africa, 2 different countries in Africa, because it's a big place with a lot of countries. But we only have time for 2 stories. So today, that's where we're going to visit, is we're going to hear folk tales from Africa. So let's go ahead and get started. Do you know what we always start with? Yes, we need to start with our welcome song. Now, if you know it, sing it with me. But if you don't, it's really easy. It sounds just like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but it goes, welcome, welcome, everyone. Now we're here, let's have some fun. First we'll clap our hands just so. Then we'll reach and touch our toes. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Now we're here, let's have some fun. Yay! Excellent! Thank you for singing with me. Now, we're ready to go on our adventure. But who's not here? You got it, that Otis. He's not here with us right now, but we need to wake him up. Well, before we wake him up, let's talk about Otis for our new friends who maybe don't know about Otis. Otis has some problems, doesn't he? He does. His number 1 problem, he's stinky. He never takes a bath. And because he never takes a bath, he's covered in fleas. And that's very terrible, especially now to not take a bath. I bet he's got lots of germs on him. But also, is he nice? No, he's grumpy. But that's not the worst part about Otis. The worst part about Otis is he sleeps during story time. And are you supposed to sleep during Miss Janelle's story time? No. So let's wake him up. Now there's only one way in the whole wide world to wake him up. We have to say 1, 2, 3. Wake up, Otis. Are you ready? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Wake up, Otis! Otis, wake up. No, I don't want to. Otis, come on, it's story time. Yeah. Okay. I'm awake. I'm ready. It's story time. Yeah. Let's read books. Wow, Otis, you're awake really fast. Yeah, because I want to read books so that I can get my prizes for reading for the Mayor Summer Reading Club. Otis, you have been paying attention. Yeah. And what kind of prizes are you going to get? I want to get $1 million. No, Otis, that's not what the prize is for the Mayor Summer Reading Club. It's not. No, you get something even better. Ooh, what's better than $1 million? A basket of trash. Ew, Otis, no, that's not what you get either. You get something better than a basket of trash. What? Free books. Oh, I like free books. I do. I like free books because then I get to eat them. No, Otis, that's not what you do with books. Well, what do you do with books? What do you do with books? You read them. Oh, yeah. That's what I meant to say. I read them. Yeah. All right, so we're going to listen to stories today? Yeah. Do you know what we're going to do today? Yeah. What are we going to do today? No, Otis, we're going to keep reading stories around the world. Oh, yeah, because last week we went to Europe. We did go to Europe last week. You did pay attention. Yeah. And now we are going to go to outer space. No, that's not where we're going to go. We're not. No. Oh, I know. We're going to go to the ocean. No, that's not where we're going to go either. Well, where are we going to go? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we are going to go to the continent of Africa. Oh, that sounds like a really cool place. I want to go there. Well, we are going to get to go there. We're going to read the stories of people from Africa, and that's a way that we can get to know their culture and their history and things about them. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to listen. I'm going to pay attention. I promise. Okay, do you think that Otis is going to stay awake? Yeah, I am. Okay, you promise. Yeah, because I want to hear about stories from Africa. Okay, well, here you go, Otis. Let's see if you're going to sit right here and pay attention. Let's see if Otis stays awake. And... oh, man. Not even for African folktales can we keep Otis awake. We're just going to have to read without him. Can we read without him? Yeah. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to read In the Rainfield. Oh, who is the greatest? And this story is by Isaac O'Leary, and it is read with permission by my friends at Blue Sky Press. So let's go ahead and read In the Rainfield. Who is the greatest? And this is a story from Nigeria, which is one of the many countries in Africa. So let's find out about In the Rainfield. There, in the rainfield, a very long time ago, wind, fire, and rain were not good friends. Not at all. And it happened one day that they had an argument about who was the greatest. I am the greatest, whistled the wind, because I am the fastest of us three, and no one can see me or catch me. Nobody. I am the greatest, fumed fire, because I am the hottest thing on earth, and nobody can stand near me. Nobody. And rain said softly, the hottest and the fastest may not be the greatest. The greatest must be the gentlest. And the three bickered back and forth and back. And since they could not agree, they decided to meet in 7 days to prove, once and for all, who really was the greatest. I wonder who it's going to be. At last the 7th day came, and wind was the first to prove its greatness. Wind became a gentle breeze, then picked up speed, whistling, foo, foo, and soon its whistling grew into an angry, howling windstorm. Whoosh! Birds fluttered, flip-flopped, and whimpered, and bang, bang, carrying back to their nest. Village children huffed and puffed, kia, kia, kata, kiti, running from the wind. Roofs, huts, and barns flew, rah, rah, flap, flap, in the shrieking wind. With one last gust, shrilling wind stopped. At last, people were left hanging high in the branches. And when the bench tree straightened, it looked as if farmers and their wives and their children grew on trees. Oh my goodness, there was so much wind, it blew them into the trees. Now fire stepped in and began to crackle. Pere, pere. And the fire fumed with great flurry. And soon a firestorm was eating everything in its way. Whee, whee! And animals scrambled for their burrows. Gada, 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 gada. And into the streams and the rivers. Wakaka, wakaka. And people plunged into the lake and ponds. Yada, yada. Fire, fire, fire. Fire power everywhere. And everybody prayed for fire to stop. Wind and rain yelled, stop, fire! Your time is up! But fire fumed, "No, I am the hottest, and the hottest is the greatest, and the greatest shall not stop." And wind blew, "Foo, foo," trying to snuff out fire. But that made fire bigger and stronger. "I cannot stop fire. Is fire the greatest?" Wind wondered. Then suddenly the sky darkened, dim, dimmer, dimmest. Lightning snaked across the sky. Thunder rumbled and roared. Grrr, grrr, kaboom, kaboom. And fire crouched, quivering under a great cloud mass. And rain began to drip, drip, gentle even upon the lowly lily of the field, and steadily upon fire. Rain, 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 singing rain, whinny, 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 everywhere. "I will now stop," yelled fire. "Too late," whistled wind. "Too late," sang rain, and a gentle shower had smothered fire, and fire was defeated. Fire hissed, "Shuns, rain is the greatest." And fire still makes a hissing noise whenever water is poured upon it. Humans and beasts broke forth in cheers for rain, and wind, which could not snuff out fire, exclaimed, "Rain is the greatest." And to this day, wind goes around with rain whistling. Rain is the greatest. The gentlest is the greatest. And that's the end of In the Rainfield, Who is the Greatest? And who was the greatest after all? Was it the strongest or the hottest? It wasn't. It was the gentlest. And that's a great story from Nigeria. Well, I'm so glad that we got to read that story because it reminds me that our world can be really big sometimes, but sometimes it can be really small when we get together and try to understand each other. So do you remember a song that we learned last week about our world being small? Do you know that song? Well, if you remember it from last week, do you think you can sing it with me? And if not, it's really easy. You'll catch on. It goes like this. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of hopes and a world of fears. That it's time we're aware, there's time that we share. It's a small world after all. 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 It's a small, small world. Excellent! Thank you for singing that song with me. You did a great job singing. But now, let's continue our travels through Africa, and we are going to read a story from Zaire, which is another country in Africa. And this one is called Why the Crab Has No Head. And there are many stories out there that explain why the world is the way the world is. And here we go. Now we're going to learn why the crab has no head. Now before we get started, we do need to practice the name of the great one who created the world in Zaire. And the name is pronounced Nzambi Mapungo. Can you say that with me? Nzambi Mapungo. All right, here we go. Let's read about how Nzambi Mapungo created the world. It was Nzambi Mapungo who made the earth and the sky. And after that, my children, she made the guinea fowl and the crocodile, the turtle and the gazelle. She made the leopard and the lizard. And still, she was not finished. She took one whole day to make the elephant, and that was heavy work. And the sun was setting that same day when Nzambi began on yet another animal. I will call this little one Crab, she decided, shaping a tough shell for the body, and for each many jointed legs. She made not just 2 legs or 4, but 8 of them. But she was tired by the time she finished the last leg. Little Crab, she said to the new creature, I will finish you tomorrow. Come back in the morning when the sun has risen, and I will give you a fine head. And Nzambi went to lie down on her sleeping mat. Well, Crab was so excited. Tomorrow, a fine head, he whispered to himself. It took Nzambi only 1 day to make elephant, but it takes her 2 days to make me. Which was not exactly true, my children. You can see that, and I can see that, but Crab was too proud to see the truth that day. He told each animal he met to come and see him get his head the next morning. Warthog, buffalo, come tomorrow morning to the house of Nzambi and see the fine head she will give me. She is taking all night to prepare it. Which was not exactly true, my children. You can see that, and I can see that. But Crab was too proud to see the truth that day. Bushbuck, guinea fowl, come tomorrow morning to the house of Nzambi to see the fine head she will give me. And he scurried away importantly, walking almost sideways with pride. Oh, he's too busy bragging to everyone. Let's find out. The next day, make way, cried the Crab as he scuffled through the legs of the other animals, still feeling so important he could scarcely walk straight. I have come for my fine head, Nzambi. But Nzambi looked sternly down at Crab. This little creature was not even completed yet, and already he thought he was more important than all the others in the world. In the whole brand new world. She frowned and folded her strong arms. Then she slowly shook her head. No, Crab, said Nzambi at last. I think you are just fine the way you are. Now that was perfectly true, my children, and Nzambi went back to her hut to think about how many stripes she wanted to put on the zebra she would make that day. So Crab never did get ahead, and to this day, whenever he wants to see, he has to poke his eyes out from his body. And he still walks sideways, only now it is from embarrassment instead of pride. And that is the story of why the crab has no head. And this comes from Zaire and was retold by Barbara Knutson and read with permission by my friends at Carol Rhoda Books. Thank you for listening to that great story. And now, since we're traveling all over the world and we're finding out about different stories of different people, can we sing a song about the whole world in our hands? Because when we learn about people, we find out that our world, we can share it all together in our hands. And you and me and our brothers and our sisters, we can all share the world together. And in doing that, we can share our stories. So let's sing a song about having the whole world in our hands. Do you know this song? We learned it last week. Let's go ahead and sing it together. Ready? We've got the whole world in our hands. 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 We've got you and me and brother in our hands. We've got you and me and brother in our hands. We've got you and me and brother in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got you and me and sister in our hands. We've got you and me and sister in our hands. We've got you and me and sister in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got all of the stories in our hands. We've got all of the stories in our hands. We've got all of the stories in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. Good job! Thank you so much for singing with me. You did a wonderful job. And now it's time. I think we've had enough travels for today in Africa. But don't forget to continue reading all week long so you can get your prizes for the Mayor Summer Reading Club at the DeSoto Public Library. And next week, we're going to continue our travels around the world, and we are going to visit the continent of Asia. And we're going to hear some of their stories. So I look forward to it, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye!